Now, I found this very interesting. A few news outlets such as AOL, MSN, and Yahoo have decided to write an article about the reasons to buy a Tesla and the reasons not to buy a Tesla. Now, a few of those reasons to buy a Tesla are as follows, right? Lower operating costs. Tesla vehicles offer significant long-term savings on fuel and maintenance compared to gasoline cars. That is accurate, as I do own one myself. Tax credit incentives. As of August 2025, there's still a limited time federal tax credit up to $7,500 for purchasing a qualified electric vehicle, including Teslas. Obviously, Tesla is fully electric. This credit is set to expire soon, making it a compelling reason to consider a purchase in the near future. Now, these tax credits will no longer be available after September 30th, 2025. So if you are looking to buy a Tesla, now is the best time to buy it to take advantage of these incentives. Advanced technology and features. Tesla boasts top of the line features and pioneering technology in the EV space, including advancements in battery and motor technology, safety features, and the potential for future additions like enhanced self driving capabilities. Now, currently, full self driving, supervised as it is nearly perfect. And I can attest from my own experience that it is nearly perfect. A few times on a few edge cases, I do have to take over, particularly in construction zones or in construction areas, but it still does a very good job at navigating even that. That's why the software suite is a supervised full self driving, as it is not perfected yet, but it is pretty damn near perfect as it is. Let's get into the reasons on why not to buy a Tesla in 2025 according to these news outlets. Number one, geographical limitations and charging infrastructure. Driving range and performance can be impacted in harsh winter climates, and those living in rural areas or apartments without dedicated charging may find charging stations inconveniently located or scarce. All right, this is only half true. The true part of this half true statement is that yes, the efficiency of the battery does become impaired in colder climates in the winter and in very hot climates in the extreme heat. So on either extreme, the performance of the battery will suffer, and therefore your range will be less in both of those extremes. Now, in the winter time, it's making it sound like this is making it sound like it's going to be severely impacted in the winter, which is simply not true. You could see up to a 10% decrease in range in the coldest days of the winter. But really, if you're getting a 350-mile range on a full battery, 10% less is not going to break the deal there. You'll still be able to drive basically as normal or as usual, unless you are planning on going on a road trip. And even then, it will be fine. It's more than enough to be to be driven as usual, even in the coldest or hottest climates. But yes, there is a degradation of performance, efficiency, and range on the extremes of both sides of the temperature scale here, cold and hot, right? Now, it says also, and those living in rural areas or apartments without dedicated charging may find charging stations inconveniently located or scarce. Now, of course, the ideal setup for owning a Tesla or any EV for that matter is the ability to charge at home. That is the ideal setup, and it works the best, in my opinion. However, if you don't have that ideal setup, it is still not a deal breaker, in my opinion. There are plenty of supercharging spots located throughout the country and the world. And specifically in the United States, there are plenty of supercharging locations available, and it is not at all inconvenient, unless, as this article states, or this information states over here, you are living in the edge case where you are living in an extremely rural area where you might have to drive 25 plus minutes to even get to any kind of civilization. So if that's the case, everything really is not convenient, right? Because if you're living in that kind of an area, to get your food and your groceries, you might have to drive 30, 40 minutes just to get to a marketplace. You might have to drive, at least 25 plus minutes to get anything, right? So everything really is inconvenient, and that's your choice. And I'm sure those living in those areas choose to live in those areas and are well aware of the inconveniences. However, if you are living in those areas, in the rural areas, and you do decide to buy a Tesla or an EV, I'm pretty certain that you will also buy a setup for home charging, as you will most likely own your own home if you're living in one of those areas. As for apartment complexes, many of the apartment complexes coming to the market now do offer, EV charging parking spaces as well. So you pay for your parking spot, and you may have to pay a little bit extra for it, but it comes with an EV parking spot charger. So you'll be able to charge your car as you're parking that parking space. So this is becoming less and less of an issue. Long distance travel challenges. Frequent long distance travelers might need to plan trips around availability of charging stations. This is simply not true, which can be time consuming and require backup plans in case of delays or charger unavailability. This is 100% false. 100% that's false, especially if you own a Tesla. You type in the address of wherever you want to go. Personally, I just did a 6,000 mile round trip from New Jersey to California and back. I never once had an issue with finding a supercharger spot from Tesla, and never once had a reliability issue where I arrived at a location and I'm either waiting for a supercharger to free up or the supercharger does not work. I did not have that problem, not even once. And I never had that problem throughout the entire ownership of my Tesla vehicle. Tesla makes it very simple. You simply type in the address you want to go to, and if it feels like you need to stop for a charge anywhere in between you and your destination, it automatically reroutes you on your trip to the best available supercharger at the most efficient time for you to charge. And it even tells you how many superchargers are available out of a total supercharger. So if the site has 12 supercharger stalls, it's going to show you that 8 out of the 12 are available and at what speed as well. And it will also tell you the cost per kilowatt hour, and it will also tell you the amenities nearby. So this claim here, number 2, for long distance travelers, absolutely false. I did my 6,000 mile round trip and it was actually a pleasure. A pleasure. I enjoyed it more traveling in my Tesla EV than I could ever have imagined in any kind of ICE vehicle. So this claim, absolutely false. And now it says limiting towing capacity. While suitable for lighter loads, Tesla's towing capacity may not meet the needs of drivers who frequently tow heavy loads. Now, yes, I mean, the EVs, such as, the EVs in general, it depends on what EV you're getting, right? What Tesla you're getting. If you're getting the Tesla Cybertruck, that Cybertruck can tow up to, comparable loads to the best of these trucks, to the best of ICE vehicles. The range may be affected due, from the weight of the tow that you're towing, from the weight of the load that you're towing, but it can definitely tow right up there with the best of them, right? So this is an edge case, you buy the vehicle that best fits your needs. So if you're into trucking and towing and actually using the pickup truck as a truck, then you might not want an EV as a pickup truck, right? But the EV, the Cybertruck, will be able to tow just up there with the best of them. So when it comes to a case like this, where you're using a pickup truck the way it's actually intended to be used as an actual pickup truck, towing, hauling, all that stuff, where in my opinion, most pickup truck owners simply do not use the pickup truck to its fullest capabilities, right? And the Cybertruck, in my opinion, would be good enough for the majority of people who want a pickup truck, because they simply do not use the pickup truck as an actual truck. They just use it as a glorified vehicle that is capable of hauling and towing high weight loads. So it really all depends on what type of use you want from your vehicle, and then it all comes down to preference. In my opinion, the Cybertruck can compete with the best of these pickup trucks, the best of these ICE pickup trucks. So in my opinion, it's really a non-issue. And actually, I would much rather prefer a Cybertruck, as it has far more advanced tech capabilities and other options that ICE vehicles simply do not have. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. The long distance travel challenges, that it's non-existent. Range anxiety is a thing of the past. It is laughable that people still believe or still have range anxiety when they think about driving their EVs on road trips. Like I said, I just came back from a 6,000-mile round trip road trip from NJ to California and back, and it was not only there was not only no anxiety with range, right? Because that's not even a thought in my thought process, but it was enjoyable. It was a pleasure road tripping with my Tesla Model Y, right? And most of the time it was on full self-driving supervised. So I actually did very little driving. I was able to enjoy the scenery of the American Midwest. I was able to really fully engage with my passengers, the occupants in my vehicle. It was a pleasure. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I would definitely recommend buying a Tesla Model Y or the model Tesla that suits your needs before September 30th, and take the delivery before September 30th to fully take advantage of the tax incentives which are set to expire at the end of September. And if you are looking to buy a Tesla, please use my referral code in the description below, and that will set you up for 3 or 4 months free of FSD supervised and or some other discounts off of Tesla Solar. If you like what you saw, please give this video a like, share it with as many people as you can, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching.